exit interviews, talking to them, just how they feel after, this season and looking ahead to next year?
I think the disappointment still stings from how it ended. Not real a whole lot of talk of next year. It was more about how much it hurt. So we're all kind of still decompressing and trying to digest it and figure it out. And sometimes these things take a while. So it's kind of where they're at.
Some of the guys that have come and have talked about next year. There's a lot of the core pieces coming back. We know there'll be some changes, obviously. What do you think that this, moving forward, this experience did for the team, the organization, the rest?
Well, I think it really don't know till you go through it again, really. I mean, you hope you learn and see and understand, and I think it's probably be healthy to watch those games and see the difference. I think when you rewatch them, you probably will, and what you need to learn, and I think that'll be important. But I don't really. You got to go through it again and handle it the right way, and that to talk about it, to be excited about it, doesn't really mean a whole lot to you go do it.
You talk about learning. You had 85 games, I think, in the head coach role, a role you didn't obviously know you were going to have until like 5 seconds before you got it. What did you learn? I mean, even for a guy who's been in the game his whole life, what did you take away, and how did you sort of grow from moving one spot over on the bench?
Yeah. I mean, again, I kind of said that the other night. There's all kinds of little things you learn, but I'm probably still in the decompressing part of it. Probably say one thing. I think that I was very fortunate that we had such a great year, and when things don't go right, I think I would learn to trust my instincts and maybe shut the noise down from everybody else. And I'm a little disappointed in myself for a few little things there, and I'll be better wherever, whenever, as a coach overall for it. But I think you learn so much, and more how to manage situations in the actual game itself. I felt game management, I felt good. I just think there's other things that I need to manage a little better.
You talked about learning from last year, and like you said, you won't know what you learned from this year until you see what the guys do next year. But just obviously, you guys got further this year, even though it didn't end the way you guys wanted. What do you feel like once you got to the playoffs? What did you guys learn from 2 years ago that you felt was implemented?
I think it's hard to really say what we learned. I hope. We learn that falling behind in games all the time, this time of year, I know it's great to come back all year, but it's almost impossible to come back in playoffs, and that's something that we really have to hammer in. But what we learned from 2 years ago, I think if you looked at our Tampa series 2 years ago, I think maybe they didn't respect us as much. They wanted to play a certain style, and I think we were pretty good at that style. This year, they, obviously with the injuries, the point, they played much tighter. If you watch their first series against Toronto, it was pretty wide open, and I think they tightened things down, and we really didn't get into the run and gun that we had the last year with them, and so there's all kinds of different things. I think hopefully we learn the will that Tampa has and see it and dissect it, and that's kind of what I was saying. You watch those 4 games, I think it's important for our group to realize it and watch it and understand it. That's how you learn it.
I mean, you touched on it after the game the other night, and I'm sure you still you're still thinking on it and need to have conversations and stuff. But I have just like your future, anything.
Oh, I'm just trying to dissect. Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk. I don't know what it's going to be. Everybody's got to pretty much dissect the situation and take a few days and reflect and where we went wrong, how we could be better as an organization, as a coach, as players have to do the same thing. So I think we're still in that stage.
In terms of the reflecting part of it, I know it's only been a couple of days, but have you had a chance to really let it sink in the season that you had, to not only being a finalist for Jack Adams and all that, but I mean, the season that the Panthers had is historic, not just franchise-wise, like one of the best seasons the league has seen. Have you let that kind of sink in and kind of have this
No. I mean, the sting still hurts right now because been in this for long enough. You only get so many chances, you know, and the one that we just left is the one that is stinging the most. And I'm sure, again, like I said, once maybe in a month, you know, and I'm kind of a stuck in a basement guy for a while to figure it out, although I don't have a basement anymore. I did in Minnesota. I don't have one here. So, but it takes me a while to kind of get through this, and I'll feel better or I'll feel worse. We'll see.
Bruno, we could obviously talk about a lot of individual players, so many career years statistically, but Anton Lundell, maybe one of the surprises coming over, just 20 years old, having the season he did, still so young. What do you think that next step is for him as he heads into his second year?
Well, I think, yeah, he had a really impressive season, and I think anybody, if you would have said he had that kind of year, you'd be, you know, I don't think anybody would have bet on that. It speaks to his hockey sense. And I think he'll just continue to get better. I thought he had a really good last game in the playoffs, so you could tell he's a quick learner. Even during the year, you know, for a young player, I know came out of the gates, he was pretty good. Then he had about that 12 or 15 game stretch where he, you know, maybe didn't produce or play very well. But a lot of guys that have been around over a lot of the years that in that stretch they go away. He found his game and got better, and that speaks to his will. You know, how bad he wants it. And obviously his hockey sense is off the charts. So he's got to put some work in the gym and get a little quicker, a little stronger, but he could be a special player.
Bruno, this has always been a football town, and then the Heat got good, and they can fight over whether it's a football or a basketball town. The last 3 years, what you guys have done here, how you've changed the entire perception of this franchise, both locally and across North America, kind of around. What has that meant to you to have been part of the Panthers just being respected again, or for maybe even for the first time since like '96, obviously?
Yeah, I think coming in 3 years ago, that was the goal, and we talked about it, and we believed it, that we had to change the culture, change some things, and be relevant here. And I think with what Joel did, and we're just kind of piggybacking off of that, and the players have bought in, and I think we're getting better. And I think anybody that's come and watched us play would appreciate it, and if they don't fall in love in hockey watching that, I don't know if they ever will. So I think we've done some good things. It's building. It's in the right direction. We have a lot of special players, and we play a fun brand of hockey, and I'm glad that we're, you know, I'm in the grind and in the trenches. I don't know what's going on around, but I could tell a little bit with the crowds and the attendance and the excitement level that we're building something, and hopefully we can continue.
Hey, Bruno, now that the season is over, how would you describe the experience of coaching Joe Thornton at this stage of his career?
Yeah, I mean, it obviously, I said to him, I kind of wished I played with him, but I got to coach him, and it was a great experience to be around him every day, and the enthusiasm and the joy he brings to hockey. He's such a contagious guy to be around, and you know, it was appreciative that, you know, as a young coach, having to scratch a Hall of Famer is never easy, and he never made it anything about anything else besides just whatever the boys need to win, and there's not too many players like that.
And also, just to clarify, is it your hope to be the Panthers head coach?
Yeah, of course. You know, I think I love this team, but I understand the business, and it is what it is, and I can just control what I can control, and what I did is on the table, and it's what they want to do going forward, and I understand either side of the equation, and but it was a fun ride, and I enjoyed every minute of it.
Have you spoken with ownership or Bill, any of that stuff? Do you know when these things are going to go down?
No, not really. You know, so I think everybody needs to take a step back. I think it's the healthiest thing, and they have to. I have to kind of throw. I think I was throwing this completely blindsided, right? And you know, I have to have some thought and some discussion with my wife to make sure she's on board too. You know. She's been in the game forever too, so sometimes this game could wear you down a little bit, and so we'll see. But I definitely want to coach, and you know, I think there's just it's such a hard time right now for everybody, because I think we all had bigger aspirations of we thought we'd still be playing tonight.
Yeah, I mean, how tough was it driving into this arena?
It was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I woke up this morning thinking we're playing, so you're just, you're in that mode, and we just take a step back and we'll figure things out. Thanks, guys.